4th, 2021. This is a special work session meeting of the Board of County Commissioners in Pitkin County. I'm Patty Clapper. I'm just opening the meeting. I have George Newman at home zooming in. I have staff, and I have Chairman Steve Child. I am going to turn this meeting over to Steve to run it from home. Go ahead, Steve. Thank you, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Patty, and Happy New Year. We finally got rid of the year 2020, so one thing to celebrate. Hopefully 2021 will be much better than 2020. So I'm going to call a special meeting to order and ask John, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
There are no additions or deletions to the agenda.
Okay, and...
Good morning. Greg here.
Hi, Greg. We just started, Greg. So we can take public comments now. If there are any members of the public who wish to make a public comment, you may do so right now. The phone number is on our agenda that's posted on the county website, and also is on the grassroots television screen, I believe. So we'll give a half a minute to see if anyone phones in. Nice sweater, Greg. Very, very Nordic looking. So I'm not seeing anybody phoning in, so I'm going to close the public comment period. And we will go to our one item that we need to deal with today, and that is an individual consideration item. That's an emergency resolution with a confirmatory reading on January 27th, 2021. And this is a Black Hills Energy Gas Outage Emergency Declaration. And John Peacock, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. And I think this will be fairly short. As the board is aware, in the evening of the 27th, we were notified that Black Hills Energy was going to need to shut down a large number of meters in the Aspen area. Due to a low pressure situation that was the result of vandalism to the system and to relight pilots. At that time, especially due to weather conditions and the logistics of getting Black Hills Energy staff and mutual aid in place, it was not immediately clear how long it would take to restore gas service to all of the meters. Under Colorado revised statute, as county manager, I'm able to declare an emergency in events where we think that a response may exceed our local capacity. In this case, we are particularly concerned about the housing, potential housing of folks this time of year, particularly with restrictions for congregate housing from COVID-19 and providing potentially for other needs. And we wanted to be sure that we were in line to receive state aid. And so we did declare, I declared an emergency on the 28th. Under Colorado revised statute, within 7 days, an emergency declaration needs to be approved by the governing board. At this time, we don't believe that we have any expenses or such that will be coming back our way that would require state or federal assistance. However, we felt that it was prudent to go ahead and ratify the emergency declaration in case there were any. It's good practice, frankly, to ratify these types of declarations in case there is any reimbursement sought through any of the responding entities. And so with that, you do have the declaration that was signed electronically by me. There was apparently one typo in there. I think there's an IC. Is it in the last whereas?
It's in the
Patty
last,
found
yeah.
it.
Yeah, the last that. Just below,
Yeah,
just
I
above
think,
the declared, yeah. Last sentence in the.
Yeah, I think it's, instead of IC, it's supposed to be in Pickens County. So.
Steve, I have a comment.
Okay, Patty first and then George.
Yeah, John, as far as monetary issues, first of all, I want to thank all of the gas workers that came from all over, I believe, the western United States. There were people here from multiple states. They were working literally day and night, and the workers that I was able to talk to in my neighborhood always were on the upside. They were willing to help. They were doing whatever they could to respond as quickly as possible in adverse conditions and situations of trying to find meters and dig them out, and everybody stopping them, wondering what's happening next, when do I get heat, when do I don't have heat, blah, blah, blah. I just want to thank everyone really because I think I'm the only commissioner who was actually hit by this, and it was brutal. The inside of my little trailer was colder than it was outside. It was like living in a refrigerator, and you know, trying to leave heaters on, you have to be in your home, you can't just leave them, but we managed. I'm still nursing one of my biggest house plants through, but I don't think we had any. I think everybody survived what was really, really a difficult situation, and what a way to end 2020. So I want to reach out and thank all of those, and I'm hoping that we're going to plan something a little more formal as far as thank yous. The other thing I want to thank first of all, the local first responders who helped with dispersing the heaters that the gas company brought up here. People are very, very grateful. They said it went really well. There were long lines, but people kept a happy note while they were waiting for those heaters, and I think it went really well. And then I know we had some other volunteers the second night at the fire station. I wish I could have been here to help out. I was actually down valley at my daughter's trying to manage both households and stay warm, but I think the community responded really well. But when it comes to reimbursements, you know, restaurants for the most part were definitely closed one night. Some of them were closed two because by the time they got heat back and gas back for cooking, it was too late to prep for the meals for that night. Is there any opportunity for any financial assistance to those businesses that were so greatly impacted on the busiest week of the year? Are there any opportunities, especially in light of an emergency declaration?
Patty, we'll have to look at that. My immediate thought is that the losses don't amount to something that would be covered through FEMA, for example, or anything like that. It would be more likely a local response.
Well, I'd just like to see if we can just see if there's any information. The restaurants actually, the ones that I heard from just were kind of going with the flow. I expected them, you know, to be pushed right off the edge, but they were like, hey, this one's definitely out of our control. And a lot of them were canceling their busiest nights of the year for reservations. And in light of everything else that's hit them so hard since March, yeah, I think they were very excited to see 2020 go and 2021 come back in. But if we could just look into that, John, at some point to see if there's any opportunities. I think that would be great, and maybe work with the city, since most of the restaurants are actually in the city that got it, well, they're all in the city that got impacted.
And we are going to be talking more along a COVID relief, but potential grant programs tomorrow during our COVID update.
Okay, so, yeah, if we could, just topped it off for them, but thank you, John.
Okay, George?
Oh, John answered that question. It was concerning some monies from FEMA.
I have a couple of thoughts. One is there still could be some expenses that we are not aware of, thinking that the sheriff's office would be involved in an investigation, which we don't know if there would be extraordinary expenses on that might need to be reimbursed. And also this incident, we think it's all over, but are we sure that it's over? Maybe will still be ramifications from it that we're not aware of yet because they haven't happened. So I think it's wise to pass this emergency declaration today. My second question has to do with the heaters that were distributed by Black Hills Energy. Are they collecting those heaters? Are they going to leave them with the homes for future use? I do have a proposal that was suggested by a citizen. There is a group of people collecting heaters to send to Indian reservations in colder places in the Dakotas where the people are largely living in trailers and have poor heating systems. So that's just a thought. If Black Hills was just writing off the cost of the heaters and people here don't necessarily need them, they might want to keep them for another emergency, but it would be a way that a lot of the heaters could be put to an immediate use for the remainder of this winter.
So Steve, for the heaters that were distributed, Black Hills is not asking for those back. We have returned, I think last count was around 800 to 4,000 heaters so we did distribute about 3,200 heaters over the course of a couple days there. The heaters that weren't distributed are going back to Black Hills, but the ones that were distributed are being left with folks. And so if there is a program that's collecting those, they may want to solicit for them.
Okay, then they'd have to do like a public campaign to just ask people to donate those ones to the cause for the Indian reservations. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions from commissioners? Let's see. So this is not a public hearing today. We would have a confirmatory reading on January 27th. That would be a public hearing that day. Is that correct, John?
Yes.
So Steve, I'll make a motion to approve this emergency resolution and set for a confirmatory reading at our meeting on January 27th.
I'll second it.
Okay, moved by Patty, seconded by Greg. Are there any further comments? Being none, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, John.
Okay,
Thank you.
we have 5 to nothing. Next we have open discussion. Are there any open discussion items?
I think I was going to save mine for tomorrow, so I'd turn it back to the board.
I do have one, Steve.
Patty?
John, this does have to do with COVID, but I got a call this morning from some folks. Actually, they are in the Eagle County side, our side over here, wanting to know how they can get information about the Eagle County vaccine program. Apparently, they were told they could respond, I think this morning in Elgibel without appointments. The line was crazy. They ran out of vaccines. They weren't told when they could get more. And apparently Eagle County doesn't have a registration form that like we have online. I just didn't know. They also wanted to know when counties are getting more vaccines and when people in those tier 1, tier 2, you know. I really didn't know who to send them to, where to find the answers. So, do you have any thoughts for me so I can get back to them?
Yeah, on Eagle County, yeah, I actually am not familiar with their program right now, Patty. I probably refer them to the website or you know, calling Eagle County. It is a really difficult thing right now because we are not right now. None of the counties are getting more than a day or two notice in terms of how much vaccine is being distributed or allocated. And so it is rather short planning timelines and prioritization. There's also information on the state's website, CDPHE. I'm sorry, I don't have that pulled up right now, but there are numbers to call on the state website for vaccination information also.
Okay, apparently they did try the Eagle County, they called the Eagle County phone numbers, and they said it wasn't like they got a busy signal, they just got this weird noise like the phone numbers weren't even set up, so they couldn't get to leave a message or anybody to talk to. They've been on the Eagle County website. I said, well, I know we have this system that we're starting with these forms that you can fill out on the website, but you know, I think everybody's trying to do the best they can with what they can right now. So if anything, I think the folks that called me, I think have relationships with the Eagle County commissioners, so I think that's probably a better place for them to go than.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have. I'm trying to do a quick web search here to see if I can get more.
Well, I'll forward them. I'm going to call them later on today, and I'll tell them what you just told me, and I will suggest that they send an email to their county commissioners, and maybe they can get. I mean, they just kind of have my number on speed dial, I think. So.
Yeah, well, it says here that appointments for Eagle County can be scheduled online at www.eaglecountycovid.org.
Okay.
That's the best info I've got.
Okay.
And when I click on that, it does bring me to a site.
Yeah, so I'll send them back there, but I'll also tell them if they're not getting the information they need to maybe send a quick email off to their county commissioners. All right, thanks, John.
Okay, Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Patty and John. I had a similar experience to what Patty describes this morning. I was trying to sign my mom up. The website and the phone number would not respond before 8 a.m., so I called and got online right at 8 a.m., and it had repeated attempts. The phone line just said, all circuits are busy, and so you couldn't leave a message. It was just dead.
Greg, is that ours or?
No, that's the Eagle. That's Eagle County.
Okay.
She's in Elgeville, and so it's kind of a cautionary tale for us. Maybe they only had 96 places open. It was going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. You know, for 24 per hour is what they were going to do for vaccinations. By 8:07, the entire schedule was full, and I made repeated attempts to get into their website and register. And every time I got kicked out, it would say, oh, sorry, that one's full, even though it said it wasn't. You know, it's one of these things where I think they've got a clunky thing. So it occurred to me, we may have the same problem when we open up the floodgate that Eagle did. So it was a cautionary tale in that, and there was no place, there still is no place you can go on their website or on the phone, because the phone, once I finally got through, referred me to the website. You go to the website and it says, sorry, we don't have anything for you. And that's it. There's no place to sign up. You can't leave your name, none of that.
Yeah.
And so I think hopefully when we do it, we'll be a little bit more responsive. So actually, after spending an hour trying to break into it, I'll have to start over again the next time they release some vaccination schedules. So
Well,
I think ours is already better than that.
And just so the board knows, we do have a pre-registration form. All right, I'm just going to share my screen real quick, if that's okay.
Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know also, Patty, that I did send a note to Kathy Chandler Henry as
Great.
well, so I know they're aware of it.
Okay, thanks, Greg. I really appreciate that. I'll let Gail and Alan know.
Yeah, so if you are seeing my screen, this is our vaccine landing page. We are still in our 1A getting ready to move to 1B. And so we've set up a pre-registration form where folks can pre-register, and we're capturing place of employment and the different types of prioritization factors so that we can start to build a list and prioritize for the 1B. We got, I think, 100 more doses. So this is, we think the doses are going to start coming more quickly, and we're going to, as we move on. But I think all counties right now, especially since the state prioritization was changed last week to include all individuals 70 and older in that first phase, there's just a lot more demand right now than there is vaccine. And so we just urge patients, for those in Pickens County, we urge you to get on this pre-registration list, and we will be prioritizing based on medical conditions, age, so on and so forth.
So John, I have a question. So even if you're not in that first category, you can still fill out this form? Or do you have to wait till it's your age group?
Yeah, I mean, you can, but we're really trying to get focused on those who are qualified for the phase 1, Patty. So they're the ones that we'd encourage to get on and fill out. Because otherwise you're not going to be able to check many boxes anyway.
George?
Yeah, John, do we know, are we just utilizing one of the pharmaceutical companies on this? And then, because the second vaccinations, they vary in terms of length of time when you need them. And I'm assuming that even people who are going to be able to get vaccinated now, hopefully then that same company will be providing vaccinations for the follow-up and be able to fulfill those needs?
Yeah, so right now, George, we're working through the hospital and community health services, and the state has put out requests now for pharmacies and such to sign up. And so I know we've been talking to some of our local pharmacies to sign up as providers for future distribution. Right now, we are using both the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines, depending on what's getting distributed. And of course, then the follow-up will have to be with those same vaccines. And so far, the vaccinations have been provided through either AVH or Community Health Services, and they will be starting their second round, I believe, this week. Their first doses of second round of the virus. But for future phases, as more vaccine becomes available, the state is really looking to expand the providers who are able to give those shots so you can get them out more quickly.
Yeah, that will be a challenge to make sure, as you said, that for the second dosage, that not only are they timely, but they'll have the same vaccination. Yeah.
Kelly?
Hi, first off, sorry I was late. This didn't appear on my calendar, and I'm starting the year unorganized, so my apologies to the board. my question, I guess, John, is so if folks who are qualified for phase 1B reaching out to their medical providers, are the medical providers directing them to this form? I don't want people to fall through the cracks.
That I cannot answer, but I will talk to the team to see what outreach. We've certainly been trying to get out in the press and provide information on our website. For anyone that is watching and you have questions about this, please go to www.picktoncounty.com and click on the COVID-19 button that appears prominently once you get there, and you can follow that to vaccines and such. But I will see what outreach we're doing there, and of course I can't answer what the providers themselves are doing.
Okay, I think we've, and we can, for sure you can give a more update tomorrow on that, John, if you have any more information during our COVID update tomorrow. Is there any other open discussion items? Greg?
Yes, I wanted to call your attention to the email we got from Gina Pingino at CCI regarding there's a bill some county commissioners have put forth to prohibit county commissioners from serving on a county's Board of Health that's coming before the state, and that will be discussed on January 8th at 1 p.m. There'll be a dialogue that CCI is putting on. Just wanted to call everyone's attention to that. And there's more to the email. I'll forward it to you, John, if you haven't seen it. Just thought you might be interested.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that.
So,
thank you.
Steve, can I, yeah, Greg, yeah, I saw that too, and I actually printed it out so I could read the whole thing. I find it interesting. So you can be a mayor and be on the County Board of Health, but you can't be a county commissioner and be on the County Board of Health, because it didn't say elected officials. It just specified county commissioners, correct?
I think it's a solution in search of a problem, or maybe it's a failed effort to solve a perceived problem that I haven't quite understood yet.
And this only affects counties with less than 100,000 people, which is also interesting. And Garfield County, I believe John, correct me if I'm wrong, their entire board is their Board of Health?
Yeah, for a number of counties, and that's the way it was in Pickton County until fairly recently,
right.
Is that the Board of Commissioners sits as the Board of Health. In larger counties, you tend to see more set up like what we have, with an appointed board made up with representatives from different facets of either healthcare or representing different areas of the community. We structured our Board of Health with kind of a balance of kind of general elected officials from municipalities in the county, along with either doctors or community members that brought some specific area of expertise. So, yeah, and I'm not seeing that I got that from Jeannie. So, yeah, if you could forward that, Greg, that would be really helpful to understand what that is. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? And if not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the special meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, Greg moved and Patty seconded. John, you have your hand up?
Oh, I was waving. I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 See you guys tomorrow.
Okay, we are adjourned tomorrow at 11 o'clock for executive session.
11
No,
11 o'clock, 10
No,
o'clock.
10:45. 10:45.
10:45 for doing the extra time to get into the
Yeah.
executive session.
And they'll make sure we have the links.
11 o'clock, the original on Friday, so I'll have to get a new agenda, I guess. Okay.
Happy New Year.
All right, see you
New
guys
Year, yeah.
tomorrow. Thanks, Gregory.
George, give me
Thanks,
10
Terry.
minutes.
Yeah, okay, thanks, John. So it's 10:45 tomorrow, because I never got the agenda.
Yeah, it's 10:45 to hook in.